Paul Manafort will be forced to hand over 5 properties found using dirty money as part of his plea agreement with special counsel Robert Mueller. The disgraced former campaign manager for Donald Trump pleaded guilty to 2 counts of conspiracy against the U.S. on Friday, agreeing to the forfeiture as part of his plea deal. The homes, which include a ritzy estate in the Hamptons, a Brooklyn brownstone, and 3 Manhattan apartments, are worth a combined $22 million, according to Zillow estimates. An initial agreement would have required that Manafort forfeit his home in Arlington, Virginia, but the 69-year-old traded that property for one of the Manhattan apartments. He also negotiated to hold on to one of 4 bank accounts the government planned to seize by giving up his apartment at Trump Tower. In addition to the real estate, Manafort agreed to hand over $30 million in cash and other assets, including a life insurance policy. In exchange, the lobbyist be sentenced to up to 10 years in prison and will cooperate with Mueller's ongoing Russia probe. Below is an inside look at the properties that the government will soon be putting on the market. The Bridgehampton estate. Manafort's most painful goodbye will likely be to his sprawling estate on Long Island at 174 Jobs Lane, Watermill, New York. The 5,574-square-foot home with 10 bedrooms and 6 baths is worth an estimated $7 million. Amenities include tennis and basketball courts, a putting green and a pool. Prosecutors say Manafort spent more than $6 million to improve the property, although it is unclear whether that money was actually used on the house or if it was laundered. The Brooklyn brownstoneManafort second-priciest property is a 4,284-square-foot historic brownstone valued at $4 $1 million. The 7-bed, 4-bath home is located at 377 Union Street in the trendy Brooklyn neighborhood of Carroll Gardens. Manafort's brokers had reportedly hoped to sell off the property for a whopping $9 million before he made the deal with Mueller. The Trump Tower apartment. When negotiating his plea deal, Manafort reportedly traded his apartment at Trump Tower in exchange for one of the bank accounts prosecutors were planning to seize. The 43rd floor condo in the President's Landmark building on 5th Avenue was purchased in 2006 for $7 million. In April 2017, Manafort was accused of having received an illegal tax break by claiming both the apartment and another home in Florida as his primary residence. It's unclear what the asking price will be set at when the home goes back on the market. The SoHo flatManafort will likely have an easier time parting with his Manhattan apartment at 29 Howard Street, which he reportedly rented out as an Airbnb for more than $500 per night. The 2,150-square-foot pad in the coveted neighborhood south of Houston Street has 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. It is valued at $2.9 million. The Chinatown pad, another Manhattan apartment Manafort has agreed to hand over, is located in Chinatown at 123 Baxter Street. Manafort's daughter Andrea reportedly bought the pad in 2007 for $2,545,625. One of her father's shell companies, Jess and LLC, is listed as a co-owner. That LLC took out a $1 million loan against the property last year. Manafort then offered the apartment as collateral when he reached a plea deal related to money laundering charges in November. the Virginia home Manafort managed to hold onto under a preliminary plea deal. Manafort would have been required to forfeit his home in Arlington, Virginia. However, the former campaign chair negotiated to hold on to the property by giving up his SoHo flat instead. The 2,828-square-foot home at 1046 N Edgewood Street is valued at $1.7 million. It has 2 bedrooms, 5 baths and is located only a few miles outside of Washington, D.C., where Manafort's trial was held. Charges behind the new Manafort Mueller deal. Paul Manafort pleaded guilty to 2 counts of conspiracy against the United States on Friday, telling the D.C. federal court he will cooperate with Robert Mueller's investigation and agreeing to meet with a special counsel team without an attorney. The stunning development that Manafort will assist prosecutors who went after him on a raft of money laundering and tax charges follows a series of earlier indications that Manafort would not cooperate with special counsel Robert Mueller. His cooperation, depending on the extent of it, could provide prosecutors with a valuable tool as they forge ahead with the Russia probe. The charges included allegations that Manafort lied to the Department of Justice about his work for a foreign government and that he obstructed justice by attempting to influence potential witnesses in the case. When Judge Amy Berman Jackson asked Manafort if this was an accurate statement of what you did in this case, Manafort replied, "It is." The former Trump campaign chairman pleaded guilty to 2 counts of conspiracy against the United States, charges that carry a maximum of 5 years in prison each. The judge noted that these sentences could not be served concurrently. He will also face up to 3 years of supervised release on each count and a maximum $250,000 fine on each count. Judge Jackson said she will wait to sentence Manafort until she receives a report on the sentencing guidelines from the probation office. She will also allow on both sides to file objections if they wish to do so. She also told Manafort that the law will require her sentencing guidelines to be more severe because his actions involved money laundering, obstruction of justice, and offshore accounts and other sophisticated means. She said the enhanced guidelines would mean Manafort should face between 210 and 262 months in prison, an amount of time that would have to be capped due to the 10-year maximum sentence. Judge Jackson also noted that Manafort would not be eligible for parole because it has been abolished for federal cases. Manafort's defense team agreed that the statutory 10-year maximum would be reasonable in this case. Prosecutors will still have a chance to file a motion asking for a lower sentence, and this could depend on the extent of Manafort's cooperation with the special counsel's office. Judge Jackson gave attorneys on both sides 60 days to return to file a joint status report in a case.